What's up, guys? DevildogGamer here. Today we're going to be talking about the thing I am most excited for releasing in 2021, and that is the AH-64D Longbow Apache for DCS. If you don't know what DCS is, I have a ton of playlists on it. It is Digital Combat Simulator. It is a combat flight simulator, free to play. The only thing you pay for is the modules themselves, which literally take years to make. This thing's been years in the making, and they are one-to-one exact with the actual aircraft. So the A-10s operate exactly how that block of A-10 worked, and this Apache is going to work exactly how the block that they're replicating worked in real life. Every switch works, every button does something, every system operates exactly how it does in real life, and there's not a person on this planet that doesn't think the AH-64D Apache is the coolest fucking thing on the entire planet. The Apache is kind of cool because it is multi-crew. You need a gunner and you need a pilot. You can't just solo this aircraft like a Ka-50. So for multiplayer, you will be able to fly with your friends, either as a pilot or your other friend will take the place of the gunner. Or if you want to fly it solo, you'll have an AI which you'll be able to kind of use, kind of like your Jester and your Petrovich that the Hind and the F-14 have, where you kind of command them what to do. That's going to be pretty cool. Or you could probably, it's probably going to work kind of how you get with the Hind, where you can throw it in a hover and then switch to the gunner seat and operate the gunner seat yourself, which is going to be pretty cool because there's a ton of Hellfires this thing can carry. I'm pretty sure it can carry up to 16 Hellfires. Just hovering it behind a hill, throwing Hellfires everywhere, all over the battlefield. It's going to be amazing. It's kind of an open secret, but DCS is my favorite game on PC. This game is the closest to real life you're ever going to get for any combat game in there. You find any game out there that simulates combat in any way, shape, or form. When it comes to realism, it doesn't get any closer to this at all. It doesn't even touch it with a 10-foot pole. And that's what I love about it. A lot of people don't know I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to go into the Air Force, and then I was like, oh, I'll be a Marine pilot, and then I just got bored and didn't feel like going to college, so I went infantry instead. I just absolutely love doing, CAS missions or anything like that. Just the way these vehicles operate, so true to life. It's crazy. It's the closest you're going to get to actually being a combat pilot without actually being a combat pilot. And not to mention, now we have the Apache, which is the coolest freaking thing ever. Just being able to fly over the battlefield and do gun cams, or hell, you can even do gun cam videos now. We can do tons of gun cam videos. This thing is just so crazy cool. The Apache is releasing in early access, but for early access, we're still getting a lot of content onto it compared to the normal early access that you get with DCS. You're going to have the chain gun, you're going to have the rocket pods, you're going to have your Hellfires. The only thing that's really not going to be there that's kind of crucial is the dome on top, the radar, which can track multiple targets. You can hide behind a hill, keep your radar on, lob some Hellfires at them, and of course the lock on after launch Hellfires, which you can hide behind a hill, fire some Hellfires over the hill, not even needing visual lock on of the target at all. JTAC can lock them and things like that. But there's just enough content there that, dude, this is probably one of their better early access launches I've seen with the amount of content that we're getting into it. And the systems on the Apache are no small feat. These are very complicated systems, and I know a lot of people have always told me hey, I want to get into DCS, really don't know how to do it. It's a lot to learn. And you know what? I'm gonna really focus on a video soon, kind of showing the hardware you need and what guides you need to look at and how to approach training and stuff like that, because it's all repetition. Once you learn one thing, you just remember it. And that kind of a lot of the same things apply to other aircraft. Some like the startups, if you can start up an A-10, you know how to start up an F-18. It's kind of similar to that. But with the Apache, there is no baseline there. The Hind is nowhere near what this is, so it's going to take a while to learn. And it's going to be a difficult aircraft to learn and fly and manage. But, if people can do it in real life, we can do it in a game. While there's no release date, I'm going to go ahead and say that we're probably going to get it somewhere in December. I would think they are going to do a 2021 release, so December's the likely choice. And I'm also going to speculate at the same time that the final trailer for the Apache, right at the end, in the post-credits, they like to tease other aircraft. That's how they did it with the F-16. I think they did it with the Apache too. I think they're going to do it, tease their next aircraft. I know they've been talking about an AH-1, a Cobra. That would be a likely choice. There's a lot of different things. F-4 Phantoms. There's a lot of rumor mills of aircraft they've been working on. And these aircraft take years to make. This is a small studio that's making a game-sized content in just one aircraft. So they take years and years and years to make these things. And so I definitely see them, you know, showing off what they're going to work on next on the last bit for the Apache. The F-18's pretty much done. The F-16's almost done. And now we'll have the Apache in early access. And a bunch of other companies are still working on things like A7s, also the F-15E, different things like that, Sea Harrier. So there's a lot of really cool things coming with this game, and where it is now from where it was when it was lock-on modern air combat, it's night and day difference, man. They really put their blood, sweat, and tears into this game, and it shows after all the graphical updates, the clouds. I mean, what they put out is just the highest class that you can possibly get in a game, and like nobody else gets me as excited when they show off new stuff as Eagle Dynamics. And this Apache is definitely right up there on my hype limit of how hyped I can get for a certain product. One of the cool things about the Apache, I think, is the sterile cockpit. Most fighter aircraft, you have buttons and switches all right in front of you and all along the consoles to the right and the left side of your arms, all the way back pretty much to where you're sitting, to your seat, because there's so many systems that you need so many different buttons. With the Apache, there's only really 2 panels on the right and the left of you, and that's for lights and kind of your radio volume. Almost everything else is directly in front of you, because as a helicopter pilot, you can't really take a hand off of something and mess around, reach around behind you or on a side panel and kind of set things up like that. You really have to kind of focus on flying, and you need 2 hands to do it, unlike a fighter jet, and all your everything that you need is pretty much right in front of you. This is going to kind of make training a little easier because it's almost everything's kind of set for these 3 different screens and these few different pads right in front of you. But at the same time, it might actually be helpful to people who don't have VR or track IR that can really kind of look around and move around, because most of your systems are going to be right there in front of you. So it might be kind of a more approachable thing for people to be like, I can't afford a track IR right now or a VR, but maybe I'll learn the Apache in the meantime. It might make it a bit more approachable and easier to train, but who knows? I don't think the Apache is going to be this crazy, unkillable thing in the DCS world, because a lot of the systems are true to life. The air defenses are crazy, and they will pick you out of the sky just as quick as they will in real life. But I think there's going to be a lot more teamwork, where aircraft will be able to focus on air defenses a lot more instead of carrying, munitions to take out tanks and armor. And the Apaches can kind of sweep up any sort of tanks and armor left behind, while the aircraft focus on taking fighters out of the sky and surface-to-air missile sites at range with their anti-radiation missiles. Or you'd even have a flight of Apaches sneaking around using terrain and hiding behind terrain to take out SAM sites or EWR radars or SHORADs and things like that. But I'm going to put money that these things are going to get shot out of the sky pretty rapidly by man-pads, because that's kind of how the A-10 dies 9 times out of 10. And I can kind of see it happening with the Apache. And one of the cool things is, as I learned with the Ka-50, is if you hover your helicopter too long, somebody with an anti-tank rocket, like a TOW or anything like that, is more than likely going to shoot you out of the sky with it, because you're just sitting there and making an easy target, and nobody's ever going to not shoot at a hovering helicopter with one of those. Overall, this is my addiction, man. This is the one thing I've been waiting for a very long time, and I've been super excited for it. I'm constantly bugging Eagle Dynamics for updates about this thing, and with the gaming drought that we have nowadays, this thing is exactly what I need, because I'm ready to dump hundreds and thousands of hours into it, and I know all of you are going to love the shit out of it because it's a freaking Apache, and everybody likes watching Apaches gun down running troops and stuff like that, and tanks and things. And this really is going to be one of the coolest things that's hit DCS in a long time. I know we've gotten the F-18, the F-16, the F-14, but this thing is just so iconic, and it's so different from everything else that we've gotten in the past, that it's just going to be a really cool, fun time to kind of learn these systems and see how they work. Because that's part of the fun, is learning it and seeing what, and like how everything works. And once you learn it, employing it and putting it into practice and seeing like, okay, maybe I need to learn this system better because I'm a little slow and my reaction times are slow, or ooh, I didn't learn this and now I got shot down because of it. That's one of the cool parts about DCS. You learn at the same time, but you also get to employ it, and it's like one of the most satisfying games ever when you finally learn an aircraft and you can just fly around, destroy everything, land back at base, and be like, wow, man, I actually did it. I actually did it. I fucking know how to use this thing, and it's just so satisfying. So I'm really looking forward to it. This is my most anticipated release of 2021, and I am ready.